Charlie, I mean, first talk a little bit about what it's like to be here. I mean, you've competed against Miami for so long in recruiting and in other ways. Now you're here on the staff. What's that like for you?
Well, I'm really excited about being here, and you're right. I competed, and I had a chance to come down here, and this was an area that I recruited over the years. A number of years I've been able to coach this sport. So, but I know this that you, when you look at what's being done here right now, we're looking at the head coach Mario and the assistants that he has put together. It's so fun because you come into work and you feel the enthusiasm, you feel the excitement, and you just know that there's an identity now, and we're creating an identity, and it's something that we want to continue to build on.
Coach, you've been on some staffs that have been great recruiting staffs. What have you guys with experience like you, Coach Addae, Mario Cristobal, obviously? How have you guys kind of built the staff to be kind of a recruiting path?
Recruiting is like it's all about relationships, and if you develop a relationship with a young man, then you're going to always have a chance to at the end get the result that you're looking for. And I always feel like this in recruiting that all players are looking for where do they want to go, and you got to find that out. But when you have a staff and everyone right now is locked in and everyone's a part of it and they're part of the recruiting process, then it makes it a lot easier.
Coach, are there any guys in particular in your linebacker room right now that you feel that are soaking up your knowledge over the years, coaching college football early on, doing well with that?
But right, it's just so hard because I think we just finished practice number 5, but you still got a bunch of guys that are willing to work, and when they're willing to work, then they're going to learn it, and it's all new for them. And you think about when you look at look at Steve, you look at K4, you just look at all those guys that have been in the system, and now with Corey, they just knowing it, they're willing to learn. And so when they're willing to learn, they're going to have a chance to learn it, and then we can just, and I told them, each and every day is bit by bit, piece by piece. So now we're just knowing that, hey, when we get to where we have to know it all, we don't have to know it all right now, but I expect them to know it and get it.
Are there any specific traits or measurables that you're looking for while recruiting linebackers?
Well, when you look at that position, it's hard to say because you look at some of the really good players here that play this position. You can't say, hey, I need this. I need this guy to be this height. I need this guy to weigh this much. You're just looking for a guy who has leadership skill, someone who has some toughness to him, someone that goes tackle the football. But there's so many traits, and you got to find those traits, and then it's got to be the right fit.
What have been your first impressions of Wesley Bissainthe?
Well, Wesley, coming in, new this semester, and the thing you like about him, he has length, but he's willing to learn, and he listens to you, and he's, it's all new to him right now. College is new to him, but he's got a guy that is going to have a bright future.
Who's impressed you with their consistency?
Well, when you just look at the whole group, just as a whole defense, you like to see the improvement. I know you just got to talk to Coach Addae. You see the improvement in the secondary. You see guys up front with Harvey, those guys that are coming along, and then with the linebacker position with Steve, with K4, with Corey. Those guys are all they have played. So when they played, it's not hard for them because they've heard it and it's all new to them, but they know that they can learn it.
You mentioned the leadership of linebackers. Are there any linebackers that have really emerged as leaders within that group?
Well, it's the guys that have played have some leadership ability because they've played already, so they understand what they have to do. But it's all for them right now. It's them just learning the defense because they haven't. It's new to them, so it's more than them. They just want to get locked in. And what you really like about these guys is they don't want to make any mistakes. So when they don't want to make any mistakes, that's why they're out there and they concentrate so hard. And it's so hard to be perfect. And I told them that you're going to make those mistakes, but they're willing to learn.
Charlie, this defensive staff in general, I mean, you've got Kevin Steele, you've got a couple of Hall of Famers that are helping you as analysts. Coach Addae is considered one of the best defensive backs coaches in the country. Is this the best staff? I know you're looking at it from a little different perspective, but is this the best staff that you've worked with in your career?
Well, with each staff member, everybody have their own attributes. And you're right. So you look at Jason Taylor, who's a Hall of Famer, and there's the guy right there who's a QC for us. And then you look Joe, who's our D-line coach, and him and Rod going to do a really good job with the D-line, and then Kevin at the linebacker position, and you right in Addae in the secondary. But you have a really good staff, a veteran staff, and guys that understand. It's a process, and we're all working together. And guys are willing to work together.
Jahmile, it's been a little bit now that you've been here. How's it going for the DBs? Your initial impressions of the program, the players you have?
You know what? It's actually going well. Probably a lot better than I think most of us thought in terms of a staff. We've got a hungry group. We've got a motivated group. We've got a group of guys that I think really want to be great. And as a coach, that's really all you can ask for is for guys that give you their attention and their effort. And if you get that, it's on you to put them in a position to make plays and have success. And so we have that right now. As a coach and the coaching staff, we're working to keep it. But we've been really impressed with how they're working, their intent, and really their attention to detail along the way. Yep.
Coach, you're coming from Georgia, which is kind of built into a recruiting superpower.
Mm-hmm.
What steps have you maybe brought from Georgia to the staff, and what steps has Coach Cristobal kind of put in place to kind of build Miami to that level?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of similarities there in terms of how we're handling the recruiting aspect of the program. Obviously, both of them come from under the same tree, and so there's some similarities in how they operate the program. I know for us here, a lot of what we're doing in this program is more about the people and less about the fluff, the auxiliary, and more about substance. And that's been what's really been fun with this group. A fun, exciting group of guys. I know you guys know obviously Big Joe and what he happens to be. But the energy is just contagious. And that's really probably been the most impressive thing, and one of the things that I didn't necessarily have to bring with me, but that this group has. Yeah.
Coach, what are specific traits that you're looking for out of your defensive backs?
Out of defensive backs? Yeah, there isn't necessarily one specific trait, right? It's a body, it's a conglomerate of things that we want to see out of a defensive back. For the most part, we want quick twitch, we want all those things, but discipline is the most important thing at the defensive back end, right? So I'm looking for guys that do what we're asking them to do at a high rate, at a high clip. If you can't do that, you can't play here. And so that's going to be the first thing. It's above the neck. And then from there, you're looking for all the intangibles that you would want as a defensive backs coach. Everybody's looking for the same thing. Length, twitch, body control, the ability to go up and track a football vertically down the field, all those things. Yeah, that's pretty much standard operating procedure.
How's Al Blades?
Al Blades has been doing really well. Playing him at multiple positions and forcing him to learn on the run, and he's done a heck of a job. Put it on him because we feel like he's a guy who can handle that load, and he made some good plays today, and will continue to grow. He's not necessarily a finished product yet, but it's definitely a definite good start for sure.
Can you talk a little bit about James Williams and Avante Williams?
Yeah, James Williams, big, long target. Obviously, when you walk up to him, he's what you want it to look like. Works his butt off. Very humble kid. The best thing about him is that he's entrenched in what we're doing. He shows up, he'll come and sit in with the defensive staff and watch film while we're watching. Just unwarranted. We have to kick him out and say, hey, we can't even have you in here because it's past the rule. But he's a guy he's one of the guys who's really, really hungry to win, really hungry to better himself. One of the things I've had to stay on him about is not taking it too hard on himself. Not letting one play beat you twice, but rather snap and clear. And that just shows you his intent and how important the game is to him. He's been really fun to coach. In terms of athletically, he's got the twitch, he's got the length, he's got the top end speed that you want. We want to hone in some things technically, which we're doing, and he's gotten better from day to day to day. His biggest jump of improvement actually happened today, and did some really nice things, communicating, getting other guys lined up. Happy to see his progress. And Avante's been awesome now. Avante and James are one and the same, and that both of them want to be so great that one play can be an issue over and over and over again. And so I stayed on both of them about being able to snap and clear and move on to the next phase. But what I will say is, in terms of their athletic abilities and how they're working, I'm pleased as their coach.
Coach, what are your thoughts on transfer Daryl Porter Jr. coming in to practice in the fall?
Yeah, we'll get him in and he'll help us. At the end of the day, he's not here yet, right? We'll have to see what that looks like when he gets into the fold. Obviously, I've worked with him in the past, so I'm pretty familiar with who he is and what he's capable of doing. There's some things here that we're doing a little bit different than when I did when I was coordinating at West Virginia. So that will be different for him. But what we do know is he's going to be a positive contribution to the program. He's going to do things the right way, and he's going to be a guy who has the ability to play at this level early.
What did you see
More
there?
questions for notes early 5 practices. Are you pleased by what you've seen so far from the guys with the ability to make plays?
Yes. You know, every coach, no coach is going to stand up at this podium and say, I hate my guys or my guys aren't doing well, you know. But all transparency, this defensive backs group has taken everything that we've given them and ran with it. It hasn't been, there is no clash, there is no division, there is none of that. You can tell that they're coming together in a different way, and that's important. Probably the most important aspect of the team, and that's what they continue to do. Yeah. In terms of their physical abilities, we have what we need. It's going to be on us as coaches to make it happen.
What have you seen from Tyreek, how he's kind of been progressing?
Tyreek, I obviously had some knowledge of Tyreek from Georgia as well. He's been in the system, he knows it. He's actually a coach on the field. Because he's coming off of his injury and whatnot, he's still out here. Obviously, you see him working with us, but in drills in which he's not working, he's actually the one that's out there getting guys lined up and talking through stuff with them on the sideline. So it's really good to have him around. You can see just a second ago, I mean, he's sitting there with me for 20 minutes, and he won't leave unless I kick him out of the building. So it's been really fun, really fun.